This is the English 250 podcast with your host, Katie Westlake. Are you stressed about college finances? If you are, just know you're not alone. According to the National Student Financial Wellness Study, 7 out of 10 college students feel stressed about finances, with 60% worrying about not having enough money to pay for college. Do you feel like you fit in with this ratio? I asked college students from many campuses if the price of college or opportunities in scholarships impacted their decision to attend college. Here are some of the responses. Colby, a student at Iowa State University, responded,
Yes, I looked for a college that offered the best education for the most reasonable price.
Hannah, a student at Drake University, responded,
By paying for college on my own, I had to select a college that gave me a quality education for a reasonable price.
There are many different barriers that come along with going to higher education, but the biggest one, you guessed it, finances. College prices keep rising, causing students and families to become alarmed. College Savings 101 created a chart showing college tuition in 2015 and how much it will increase by 2033. The results were shocking. A private college in 2015 on average cost $134,600, increasing by $189,300 to make the average price of private colleges $323,900. While on average, a public in-state school cost $39,400, increasing to $94,800, resulting in a $55,400 difference. In just 18 years, the prices of college can increase by thousands. According to the College Board, the average 2014-2015 tuition increase was 3.7% at private colleges and 2.9% at public universities. The inflation rate for the United States is only 2.2%, and as the article The Real Cost of Education states, these figures are substantially higher than the general inflation rate and also higher than the average increase in personal incomes. With the prices of college rising faster than the United States inflation rate, paying for higher education then becomes a barrier. Greg Gottsman tells us this.
Well, how do we get here? Tuition is the major culprit. No expenditure in the United States has risen more over the last several decades. It's up 1,000% since 1978. And just to give you a sense for how that compares, that's 4 times the rate of inflation. That's significantly more than housing prices have risen. And we talk about healthcare costs spiraling out of control, crazy healthcare costs. They've risen 250% during this time period versus 1,000% for tuition.
So what do students do? Some drop out. Some turn to financial aid, loans, and work many hours pulling away from the focus of school. All of these have consequences tied along with them. Value Colleges expresses in 2012-2013, $238.5 billion in financial aid was distributed to undergraduate and graduate students in a form of grants from all sources. Imagine how much money that is. Not even the richest guy or woman ever alive has ever made that much money. Let's tune in again to Greg Gottsman and see what he has to say about student loans.
$1 trillion. $1 trillion. That's the amount of student debt that we now have in the United States. That's more than all the auto debt, more than all the credit card debt. And just to give you a sense for how big of a number $1 trillion of student loan debt is, if you stacked $1 trillion $1 bills on top of one another, it would reach 1/4 of the way to the moon.
This is why every 2 out of 3 college students end up with student debt after graduating. Does higher education finances apply to everyone the same? The answer to that is no. In a Brookings article by Bridget Long, they state, in 2010, approximately 82% of students from high-income families attended college in comparison to only 52% of students from low-income families. High-income families more often have less trouble finding the finances for their children to attend higher education. Thus, they can choose a more expensive college that may have a better quality of education. In relation, there are also findings about the achievement gap between the two classes. Students coming from affluent family backgrounds tend to have a higher achieving percentage of students completing their higher education degrees. This achievement gap is not something new. It has been growing and widening for more than 50 years, as Rodney Rosura expresses in his article, Education and Inequality Between Rich and Poor. Let's take a step back and see how the United States compares with the world. Way back in 1990, the United States was ranked 4th in the world for higher education. We are now ranked 12th, according to Value Colleges. Some of the countries now above us include Russia, Japan, Korea, Germany, and Norway. But what could the U.S. do to make us fall from 4th all the way to 12th? In an article titled College Access and Affordability, U.S. versus the World, states their thinking on this question. Access to higher education and affordability are two of the main reasons for the fall. Mentioned before, higher education's biggest barrier is the tuition. Ever wish or dream that college was free, but know that would never happen? Everyone wanted to attend that college. That is how it is in Germany, the polar opposite of America. For the 2.4 million students attending a higher education degree, is not cheaper than America, but as Value Colleges puts it, Germany's higher education system is entirely publicly funded. Can you imagine your wish or dream of going to college for free came true? Germany isn't the only country who offers free higher education. Over 40 other countries do, including Argentina, Denmark, Greece, Kenya, Morocco, Egypt, Uruguay, Scotland, and Turkey. You may ask, why do finances matter so much? Why do people make finances such a big deal? An article titled, Why Are Fewer People Going to College? Explains that between 2012 and 2013, 463,000 fewer people were enrolled in college. In fact, this is the second year enrollment has fallen by that much, bringing the 2-year total to 930,000 fewer college students, bigger than any dropout before the recession. Finances can be a hard subject to talk about, especially when it isn't in a good way. Some go about this burden by not attending college. Is this the better choice? Some say yes, and some say no. Many students attend college for the plain fact that it is what is socially accepted. With the push from their parents, guardians, or other family members, this is the path many choose. But what if they don't want to go or don't know what they want to study yet? Going to college not having a clue what you want to do just costs you more money in the future. Just as taking unnecessary classes that could or couldn't help is just costing the student more money in the end. A study by the Pew Research Center shows us the opposite side of attending a 2 or 4-year college. In this research, it shows that employees with a college degree working full-time on average can earn $17,500 more annually than employees who went straight to work after earning their high school degree. This gap between the income of someone with a college degree and one without gives us the incentive to go on to higher education. Finances are such a big obstacle, causing many difficulties for potential students. How much about finances do the students actually know? Let's look behind the scenes of finances. Steffens, a graduate student at Iowa State University, looked and studied more into finances of higher education after the Great Recession. He specifically went into depth on examining the effects of state cuts on academic programs. What happens when the state has to cut funding from the school? That's right, the burden goes to the students, again raising the price of their college education. In an editorial written by Levine, he says, American higher education is facing more than a poor economy. It is undergoing a test of public trust. In Levine's article, he talks about many different ways groups of people have tried to fix the problems of financials, but he has not found the right one. Each one put to the test in losing public trust, creating another problem. In the end, what we see is a big barrier for some and a little barrier for others. Through the years, college prices have risen by thousands and are continuing to rise as we can predict. Increasing so fast, it rises faster than the inflation percent. The stress varies among everyone differently. Through many studies, it is shown that a student coming from a high-income family has less stress as they have a larger variety of schools to choose from, unlike most low-income families. But when we take a step back and look at the world, we can see how the higher education programs compare with those around us. I think everyone would enjoy free college tuition. Why are we talking finances? Because it is the biggest barrier keeping students from going on to higher education. It is important for everyone to know the facts so we can do something to help change it. To get the facts, we have to ask the questions. As Levine stated, higher education needs to begin addressing these hard questions in a serious manner, campus by campus, system by system, state by state.